All right, my friends, I told you guys a few days ago there was going to be a pretty nice sale on ceramic coat coming up. That sale is now live. So if you want to protect your car in the winter, protect your car's paint overall in general, make it easier to clean, and just make it look better overall, first link down in the description box below. If you only want one kit, use my discount code Devin25 to save $25 off. 2 or more kits, you do not need any sort of discount code for this Halloween sale. It'll be $45 off 2 kits, plus a wash mitt and some actually really nice towels. I've been using them a lot. 3 kits is $78 off, and then 5 kits is $147 off with a ton of free stuff. First link down in the description box below. At the time of this recording, there is 1 day and 15 hours left, or until everything is sold out. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another day working on our STI hatch. Yesterday, we went ahead and pulled out the engine, got her chilling on the stand over there. Discovered it's actually a 2-liter engine in a STI, which all STIs came with a 2.5. Not exactly sure if it's like a 207 or EJ20X. I'm talking with a bunch of different people right now, trying to figure out exactly what the heck this thing is, see if it's going to handle any sort of power, or if we just should, throw it in the garbage and start from scratch. But we do need a lot of things off this engine, regardless of what we do. I do want to get it cleaned up. I want to get the intake manifold off with the TGVs, all that good stuff has got to come off. Power steering pump, kind of just get it down to a bare block, get everything cleaned up. Manifold's very rusty and crusty, so regardless, we'll get that cleaned up. I want to see what turbo's on this thing. You guys get the point. Today we're going to be working on the engine and potentially the bay of the STI, getting it prepped out so we can get that thing sprayed. We have to take pretty much everything out of the bay. I'm not going to go crazy like we did on the 8, where we pulled the whole entire wiring harness out. All that stuff doesn't need to come out. We can just mask it off. The 8 was a little bit different of an animal. This thing is like, it's going to be nice and it's going to be mint, but it's not going to be 10.5 out of 10 mint. It's going to be like a 9.9 out of 10, or maybe a 10 out of 10. Guess we'll see. First thing we're going to tackle is popping off the intake manifold. This whole wiring harness is going to come off with the intake manifold. We're unbolting the TGVs. So the TGV housings right there, the silver guys, from the actual heads, not the intake manifold from the TGVs. It's so much easier if you just pull everything off together. So along with the manifold and the TGVs harness, the inlet's also going to come off. Of course, the throttle body, the turbo will stay on. And I know it looks like a lot of BS going on right now with this thing, but it's really easy to just remove the intake manifold while it's off of the car. So there's 4 bolts on each side holding TGVs to the head. And then we'll have to loosen up the inlet off the turbo, some wiring connectors, and the intake should pop off. Intake manifold is off. Some more weird things going on with that manifold. There are side feed injectors, which I know came from an 04 to 06 STI. And I think like 05 to 09 Legacies, I think had side feeds as well. I know an 08 STI is supposed to have top feed injectors. Regardless though, we will be swapping all of that stuff out. I just need the intake manifold, the TGV housings, fuel lines, injectors, all that stuff is all going to be replaced. Really all I want and need from this whole assembly is hopefully the long block. If it's a decent long block. Turbo I do not care about. It's a TF035, which it honestly looks smaller than a TD04. I'm not sure exactly what that came on. Haven't done my research yet. So I need a long block. Of course, the accessories like the power steering pump, and then just the intake manifold, throttle body, and the wiring itself. Everything else I don't need and I don't care about. I'm gonna go ahead and start getting some stuff cleaned up. I'm gonna pop off the turbo, plug off all of the ports on the heads, and get this thing all degreased, pressure washed, cleaned up, just so we can work on it a little bit better if need be. Looks like you're going to a goddamn funeral.
Just figure out what it is.
I think it's a EJ20X, which is ironic because I had one of these before. And that STI swaps. Impreza, that old you never saw it.
Well, yeah, we saw that car.
It is a badass car. It is a 20X though. Went ahead, got the intake manifold cleaned up, pulled off the power steering pump, that's all cleaned up, and the full entire complete long block is nice and cleaned up as well. This thing came out really, really nice and it looks beautiful. We have the engine and intake manifold tucked away in the back. Let's go ahead and move on to the bay of this car. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be doing with the engine now that I know it's an EJ20. And I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this out there. If anyone has a complete running or non-running, blown up, I don't really care, EJ257, it's gotta be complete though. I want the whole thing short block with the heads. I don't need the intake manifold or any of that. It'd be nice to get an actual 257 back in this car, because based off the current research and people I've been talking to, it looks like we have an EJ20X or EJ20Y. And I think the only way to find out would be to pull the heads and see if it's an open deck or semi-closed. But like I said, I'd rather have a 2.5 back in this thing. If it was a known guaranteed EJ207, then I would be stoked. But I don't think it is, unfortunately, especially based off all the other parts that they put on this car. Why would they put a high-end 207 in here with WRX brakes on STI, which doesn't add up? So like I said, if anyone's got a 257, let me know. I want it. We got to take a few things off of the car. Headlights are going to come off, AC condenser. I did end up pulling the AC compressor as well, just because it appears to be seized up. Tranny is going to stay in the car. No need to pull that. And then some other wiring, fuse box stuff. So let's go ahead and get this thing on the ground and start ripping some stuff off, and we can get her hopefully prepped out for paint. Things never really, I guess you could say, go to plan. They always seem to go further than the plan. I wasn't gonna pull everything apart, but now everything's apart. The only thing that we don't have pulled out is the wiring harnesses. So the plan is to completely prep this thing out as much as possible. I'll wheel it into the booth with the subframe in. I'll put the front end up on jack stands in the booth, pull the subframe, do whatever tiny bit of prep work we have left, because as of right now, the subframe is maybe 4 bolts holding it in, plus the top hats on the coils. I'm gonna leave the tranny in the car. I'm not taking that out. I cannot take that out. There's no point to take it out other than to clean it, but I need to stop somewhere. So I'm stopping pretty much here. But yeah, get it all prepped out, get it cleaned, prepped, wheel in the booth, pull a subframe, mask, spray. Of course that's not going to happen all the day. Pulling this thing apart took just a little bit longer than I would have expected, but hey, at least it's apart. I do need to go ahead, pull this thing outside and give it a good degreasing and pressure washing before we start any sort of scuffing, sanding, final stuff. That's what we're going to move on to now. And I think I've officially found out the new name for the car. There's only one good name for this car. The name is Sus. I present to you Sus. It's only fitting. STI some sort of JDM WRX slash Legacy slash Forester motor, WRX brakes, bummy wide body kit that took forever to get to fit, bummy paint. Every aspect of this car is just hella sus. It ain't gonna be sus when we're done, but it's definitely, she's still sus for sure. I'm gonna clean up the shop a bit. We got the condenser, the ABS pump, and literally everything just scattered about the shop. The main harness is chilling off to the right over here. So I think I'm gonna put that whole thing in a bag. And honestly, because the windshield's out, I'm gonna gently set it in the interior. Just kind of droop it over right here. I don't think I'm gonna spray any of this, at least not as of right now. I might, honestly, I don't know. I might paint this, I might not. You can't see it, but I still might paint it. So yeah, let's get the shop cleaned up, get the wheel back on, get this thing outside. Is it still light out? Hopefully it's still a little bit light out. We can get this thing degreased and pressure washed outside instead of making the shop a mess. Please be light. Well, we have like 2 minutes of light left. Sick. All right guys, let's go ahead, give this thing a pressure wash. We gotta be pretty careful because there's no windshield in it. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna set the windshield on. That's gonna help out a ton. I'll pull that wiring down for now. I'll set the windshield on just so we don't get anything in the inside. That's a good idea. Sometimes I have good ideas. And then we're gonna run through. I'm sure you guys have seen my new little pump spray here. This thing is so freaking nice. Bobby was giving me shit the other day, and I know you guys do too, about this degreaser bottle. So she's in the garbage now. And we got this guy. It's so freaking handy. Check this out. Sheesh. Let's get this thing degreased down, let it soak in, and get it pressure washed up. Car is back up on the lift to make it a little bit easier to work on because we're gonna have to do underneath the frame rails and whatnot. Picked up 4 new scuff pads to get this project knocked out. A fresh cup of coffee because it's getting real late out. And we're gonna go ahead and tackle this whole entire engine bay. Look how clean this thing came out though. If we were leaving it black, like, this looks really nice. It's really, really, really clean. Not bad at all. Just a nice solid scuff on the whole entire bay. And this thing should be ready to get sprayed out. I'm excited. This is gonna look so good. And you guys don't even know the color yet. Well, you might. You probably do. I don't know if I dare say this. I might pull out the tranny with everything. Everything. Just pull the subframe, trans, all the control arms, all that. Just pull it all out and be done. Anyways, the whole entire bay is prepped out, scuffed up, ready to go from what I can get to as of right now. I was thinking, as I was sitting here for hours on end, scuffing this damn thing up, I'm like, if we pull this cross member right here, or the front subframe, I guess you'd call it, we pull that guy out, the training's gonna be held in by like 2 bolts or like 3 bolts maybe. And I think it might be easier just to pull everything together. And I know I literally just said I'm not gonna do it on this car because there's no point, but there might be a point, and the point might be that it might be easier. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I know I'm gonna do it, I just don't know if I'm gonna do it tonight or tomorrow. It'd be sick to get this thing fully sprayed out tomorrow. That'd be like pretty nutty, to be honest. That'd be some real quick work on my end. So if we pull the stuff tonight, how are we gonna get outside tomorrow in the booth? I think I might have some rollers around here. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna start working on it. If I pull the tranny tonight, it is what it is. Also, this stuff is so amazing. It's called the Scuff Stuff by Presta, Surface Prep. It like kind of cleans as you scuff, and it adds some abrasion to the Scotch-Brite pads as well. And this made life go quite a bit faster. This bottle was like 40 or 50 bucks, but I used like maybe a 25th of it, and it helped out a lot. So I would highly recommend it. So kind of how I do this is pull off like 95% of everything underneath the car, and then we'll put it on the ground. I wish I had one of those big metal tables that we could just set everything on and then lift the car up off the subframe and trans, but I don't have one, so it's gonna go on the ground. We have the bolts for the subframe. We have 1 nut left for the rear control arm, and then 1 nut left for the trans cross member on both sides. And then up top, just the 3 nuts on each coilover top hat, and this thing should drop out of here. So let's go ahead and get her pulled out. Now check this out. This is the best part about the whole situation. I can literally drive this thing around. This is beautiful. I should patent this. That's how sick this is. She doesn't turn too well. We'll leave her right there for the night. Just went through, re-cleaned everything with degreaser, with Dawn dish soap in a spray bottle, got this thing 100% ready to go. Wanted to do it the night before, just so we didn't have any sort of water dripping out of this thing tomorrow. Kind of sucks, she's dripping on the S2K, but it's just water, it'll be all right. We just spent like an hour doing that, so I'm probably gonna be eating cold food tonight.
You're extremely late. So in the meantime, while I've been waiting, I ate all my tater tots.
You did what?
Please. I swear, for the love of God.
You ate.
For the love of God, I'm begging you not to put it on the channel.
That you got hungry?
I saw a comment last time about me talking in like a baby voice to you.
It's just how it is.
And I don't want to
It's
do
just how
it
it
on
is.
camera. Honey, I'm asking you nicely.
I'll debate with myself later tonight.
Okay, well, I ate all my damn tater tots waiting for the burgers to be done.
Are they done?
I don't freaking know. You need to check yourself.
Got it. Coming right up. Oh, I pulled my tranny out, by the way.
I assumed you would.
It's fully prepped out, ready to go.
Now I'm going to your tater tots.
Hey, that's my gosh damn tater tot. Whatever, you can eat them. I'm fat as hell anyway. Okay, Brandon. Okay, goodbye.
Baby, check the burgers. Hungry.